But yes, remember, this is my favorite, guys. So if you have a problem with it, comment below. Tell me about it. I want to hear your favorites as well. But you can't really say it's wrong because it is my favorite. It's not your favorites. Yeah, and these are a mix of just things that I enjoy, things that I can rewatch easily, and things that kind of mean a lot to me in a personal regard. So I'll go through it. I guess we will start then, eh? All right. So top 10 DreamWorks animation. We'll start off with 10. So, man, I got The Croods: A New Age. The second Croods, and I think this primarily goes back to our experience with the movie. I think it was a heavy COVID time, wasn't it, when this film came out?
To be honest, I completely forgot. This feels like 10 years ago to me.
But yeah, no, I think it was a COVID time. We hadn't really been to the movies that much. Me, Nan, Kyan, we went to this screening. We didn't really expect much from it, but I think we arrived late, and all we had was the beds. Like I don't know if you guys have like cinema around you that have beds, but at the front of the cinema there's beds, and we arrived I think a couple minutes late to the screening. Every seat gone, just one bed between three of us. And we sat there and we watched it. And the movie itself, it's entertaining, it's fun, and we just had a ton of laughs. It brought a ton of memes between us, and it's left a really great memory for me in terms of just the movie itself being entertaining, but also that memory with the lads. So that's why it's number 10. I could not get rid of it, even though I did fight for some other movies to be on here. At number 9, I got Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted. Madagascar franchises, I think it's a pretty mid franchise. I think the movies are all good, but they're not great. None of them's really great. I would say Madagascar 3 is the best one from them. And I think it just has a ton of really great moments in it. It's a lot of fun. The comedy works. I think it's probably the best. It's my favorite. So there you go. At number 8. We have Megamind. People might not like Megamind, maybe not after that TV show that released that came out to horrendous reviews, but Megamind the movie, I think it was just really good. It's about, the villain becoming the hero with that story, and I mean, I just thought it was just a really fun movie. I've rewatched it maybe, 10 to 15 times throughout my lifetime. I love the movie. It's just a ton of fun, and the comedy really, really works in it. At number 7, I got Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. Another great memory with the lads. This is one where we came in and we did not expect much from this. In fact, I think me, Nan, and Kyan were all like a little bit hesitant to even come to that screening. Sunday morning, we're like, oh, okay, let's just go. And so we went, and I think all three of us are glad that we did, because this movie turned out to be a very surprising delight. It's super funny. So much memes between us three. And the story itself is just good. However, I did watch it recently, and it's not as great as I remembered in terms of the movie quality itself. But I think one of the big pluses for this movie is the villain. The villain is terrifying. I absolutely love him. We need more of that villain around. All right. Number 6, Nan. How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World. So this is the third one. I don't know how high or how highly regarded the third one is, but it's one that I like quite a lot. In fact, the screening that I went to, it was like in the start of January, and the movie came out at the end of March. And then the 20th Century Fox, president for New Zealand, was like, oh yeah, by the way, you're the first in the world to see this. And we're like, whoa, okay. So that was an incredibly early screening, and I'm glad we were, because this movie is really, really good. I think it caps off the trilogy really well. The departure between Hiccup and Toothless is just, it's emotional, it's well-meaning. I think it can easily be translated to real life about moving on, all that kind of stuff. So that one hit me deep in the feels, and it capped off a really, really great animated trilogy. So I got it there. So that is my 6 to 10 so far. Nayan, do you know where I'm going with my top 5 here? Do you think I know where I'm going?
I definitely know your top 3. I just don't know what in order. But I don't know what 4 and 5 could be. I'm looking at my own list. Oh, okay, I think I know about 4. I know
Okay.
4. That's
4.
in there.
Interesting. All right. At number 5, we have Kung Fu Panda 2. Kung Fu Panda 2. I've watched the Kung Fu Pandas very recently, right before the 4th one. And yeah, Kung Fu Panda 2 is brilliant. It's not as good as the first, spoiler alert, for this list, but it's not as good as the first one. I think it just gets a little bit more goofier, but it keeps that heart. It keeps, those really powerful themes in it, and it furthers Poe's character really well. The comedy in it is still as good, not as great. So, yeah, a really well done movie there. So, number 4, that goes to Kung Fu Panda now. Kung Fu Panda is brilliant. I think the comedy in that movie is, it's got to be one of the best for an animated movie. It's hilariously funny. I've watched the movie so much, and I rewatched it this year, and I still laughed a ton. It's really, really, it's just done so well, and it's also quite meaningful to the character and his journey and how you can take away in our own lives. I think, yeah, it's super, super well done. And there's a little bit more seriousness to it, where Poe's not a complete idiot. So, yeah, it's got way more heart in it. All right, number 3, How to Train Your Dragon. The first one. Okay, so How to Train Your Dragon. I love this movie just so much. I think it's a really unique concept. It works so well. I love, the animation, the relationship between Hiccup and Toothless and how that kind of comes. I think it has, amazing, animation, just the way it looks, man. Real visually well done. The score in it is incredible. I listen to that one quite often. So, yeah, How to Train Your Dragon's really up there. It's just, I think, really a good feeling movie for me. And I think the top 2 are fairly obvious to name. I don't know about you guys listening, but at number 2, I have Shrek 1. I mean, Shrek 1, I believe...
I wasn't expecting that. I
Shrek...
almost choked on my drink.
Shrek 1 is 23 this year. It's hard to believe that this is 23 because I remember when this movie first came out in cinemas. I remember being there, and I think I was 5 or 5 years old. I was 5 years old, and I still remember it. That's how vivid these Shrek movies are to me, and how kind of meaningful they are to my life. I remember getting really angry at Mum. I wanted to see Lord of the Rings, man. I was like, no, I don't want to see Shrek. What even is Shrek? Honestly, Lord of the Rings, that looks cool as. And then we saw Shrek, and I'm like, oh, wow, that was so cool. Shrek's just amazing. It's super funny. It's creative in how it brings fairy tales into it. Just, a ton of fun. Really great characters, Donkey, Shrek, Fiona. It all just works really, really well. It's endlessly rewatchable. A Shrek 1, I might have watched this maybe at least 25 times, dude. In that time frame. It's just, it's so good. All right, number 1.
It's more than once a year.
Pardon? What?
More than once a year.
Yeah, man. When it first came out, I watched it a few times. Being a kid and all that. All right, number 1, Shrek 2. I mean, I'm sure you saw this one coming, man. My love for Shrek 2 is deep. It is great. I think it did better than the first one. It's a better story. It expands the world far better. You got Far, Far Away. You got all that stuff there. Puss in Boots gets introduced. It's a great, great character to have a part of it. But ultimately, it's I don't know if it's more heartfelt than the first one, but the comedy is a lot better. It's a great, action adventure that's just keeps the same magic that Shrek had. I remember being in line, waiting in line in 2004 when it came out. I was so hyped for this one. I was not complaining to my dad to go see another movie because I had fallen in love with the Shrek movies. And I'm like, I want to see Shrek 2. But yeah, those 2 Shrek movies, man, they're just so good. They're so, I guess, they're meaningful to me and my childhood. We always have those movies that are quite, deep to us from when we're children, and Shrek is one of them. That's why when Shrek 5 does officially get announced, I don't know much movies that could beat it for number 1 most anticipated. I don't know. I can't think of much examples. All right. I will hand off.
Very hard.
Yeah, I'll hand off the baton to you now, mate. You run through yours, critique mine.
Yeah, you're fully gonna get triggered over mine. Eh?
Oh, really? Oh,
but this
God.
is favorites. So
Favorites can be wrong.
That's true. And
Nah.
I think number 10's going to be wrong. All right.